Good morning. I want to welcome everybody to our town board meeting, and we'll start off with our clerk, Chris Sampson, calling the roll.
Councilman Freeman. Here. Councilman Charles. Councilman Deputy Supervisor Withers. Present. Councilman Altman. Here. Deputy Commissioner Hunter. Here. Supervisor St. Lawrence.
Here. I'd like to ask Councilman Friedman to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Should we do public participation right away? Yeah. Okay, so we have some members of the public here, so we're going to take some things out of order with the police because they have a kind of a long agenda, and I know there are people that want to speak, and I know that there are a couple other presentations. So we will take a couple things out of order. We'll do public participation, then we'll have a vote on the setting of the date for the ward system vote, and then we'll have a presentation by Orange Avenue in Suffern for that project. So anybody in the public like to speak, raise your hand. You have 3 minutes. Robert, come right up.
Robert Romanowski, 183 Maple Avenue, Muncie. Today you're going to set a date for the vote on the ward system. I know I've spoken to you in the past. You said that all the polling locations would be open, but when you set the date for the ward system, I'd also like you to put in the resolution that you will allow absentee ballots and poll watchers, and I'd like to get information from either you or the town clerk how we can go about getting poll watcher certificates for poll watchers for this referendum, whose date you're going to set today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Romowski. Mr. Rhodes, come right up.
I just have a couple of questions along similar lines. One will be, by law, our absent...
For the record, Mr. Rhodes.
Yeah, Robert Rhodes, 26 Sky Meadow Road, Suffern.
Sky Meadow.
And so I want to know if by law absentee ballots are required, or is it optional? If they are something that's required, when would the procedures be set up, and what would those procedures be? And secondly, where will the polling places be so people can be told in advance where they're going to be allowed to vote? Thank you.
Okay, and I just answer those couple questions, Mr. Rhodes and Mr. Romanowski. We're going to have the regular polling places that would be for any election. So we're not consolidating anything. We're going to let people go to their regular voting area so that they will know where they're going to be voting. And if we need to put in the resolution to have absentee ballots, then we'll do that as well. Okay.
Robert Burton, 5 Dale Road, Muncie, New York. I noticed there's a plan for discussion on the RCVFA Association clothing bins. This company, Planet Aid Incorporated, is not on the Attorney General's list of allowable companies to collect clothing via their bins in New York State. There are only 3 companies. The company that the RCVFA, besides which I am a past president of that association, the RCVFA does deal with an appropriate licensed vendor, and we grossly object to this Planet Aid. And I would like to have more of the RCVFA bins allocated in the town of Ramapo than there are now. I was told by some venues that we were told to take our bins out of Jean Levy Park, and I think that is not the correct way to go about this. Again, I was told something else. I don't know how true it is. In fact, I'm not even going to say it. The RCVFA is a 102-year-old organization, and what we do primarily, we do not make too much profit on this. We collect a lot of the clothing from these bins, and we give them to victims of fire that are displaced. The Red Cross finds them housing, and we give them clothing as much as we can. And I would appreciate your allowing the RCVFA bins in the town of Ramapo. Thank you.
Great. I think we will be tabling any vote on that. We won't have any vote. We'll look into what you've requested, and we'd love to be able to continue our relationship with you. Okay? Come right up.
Starting now. My name is Rudy Dent. I live in New Hempstead, 8 Red Oak Lane. Been here 17 years, and I've seen a lot of despicable and disgraceful things go on in this administration. Try to imagine a town where the chief of police is nothing more than a public relations damage control agent for the town supervisor, the so-called self-proclaimed king of Ramapo, who's nothing more than a jester, who caters to and kisses the boots of the group who keeps him in power. Also, try to imagine a situation where you see a chief of police who's about to retire and the ticket magician waiting in the wings to take over his position. Think of a bunch of police officers who put their life on the line every day and who are suppressed and kept from doing their job. Think of the code enforcers who can't do their job because the chief of police makes sure that they don't. Think of an administration who rewards and punishes those who do not comply with its agenda. Think of the police who put their life on the line every day. Think of the fact that there's no love lost between their side of the building and this side of the building. Think of the fact that they know that the things they can't do here will be at their doorstep one day, soon. I came to this town because all I wanted was space, privacy, location. I found that. I achieved the American dream. My neighbors on my left and right of me were Jewish, and our kids grew up together. They were honor students, and they helped my child to become an honor student as well. And it was a beautiful, beautiful time. However, in this town, there is a major blockbusting operation going on in this town that no one dares to speak about because they're afraid of being called all sorts of names. Getting back, I am a former police officer, and I know that there is nothing routine about that job, all right? Every police officer that goes out there puts his life on the line daily. But think of the fact, or think of the possibility that these officers have to operate under the direction of a chief who is supposed to retire, but listen, it's a small town. Put your ear to the ground. You can find out all you need to know about the character of the people who are running this town. Thank you.
Thank you. Come right up.
Good morning. Cassandra Edwards from Spring Valley, New York, and I am the Executive Director of Advocating for Change. On behalf of being a community organizer and activist, I coming with a plea of asking for your support for our annual book bag drive, which is it's going to be our 14th year. With all the dynamics happening in the village of Spring Valley, as always, the town of Ramapo has really always bailed them out of their mess. And not that that should be the expectation, but whenever you get to a place where you compromise the ethics on the backs of young people, we have to look at different things from a different lens. So our supervisor, whom I think is sharp on many different levels, and has always been supportive, as well as the board members, Mr. Withers and David, Daniel. Listen, at the end of the day, we need to save our community. Town of Ramapo Villages, Spring Valley, we are one community. And the reality of it is that we must learn to figure out how do we work collectively. And this book bag drive, for those that don't know, I've been doing for 14 years without writing one grant. So it's all been based on donations. I got to talk about the Spring Valley Police Department and the PBA. And in all due respect, my interaction with the town of Ramapo has always been positive. but as a collective group, you've always come through with being able to help our children with the DARE program. So on behalf of you, I put a plea out that I put a request to get your support because I don't have it from the village of Spring Valley. They have no idea of the work that I do in the village. So I'm at a point where I need help. The book bag drive is August 30th. The goal is to give away 900 book bags full of school supplies to all of the children in the town of Ramapo, in the village of Spring Valley. So hopefully you'll be able to support our efforts. But thank you for all that you do on behalf of all of us in the town of Ramapo, in particular the village of Spring Valley.
Thank you, Cassandra.
6 Spring Valley Commons Road, Spring Valley, New York, 10977. I'm asking for $3,000.
Thank you,
And
Cassandra.
I am a 501c3.
And thank you for all the work that you do. Anyone else in the public? Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Adam Gordon. I live at 73 Lorna Lane North, Suffern, New York, 10901 in the village of Airmont. I'd just like to briefly speak about why I came here regarding the local law amending the zoning, number 10-2004, clarify the permitted distance between buildings. Just so everybody understands, I'm a 20-year volunteer firefighter in the Muncie Fire Department, and I'm a bit just concerned about this. It basically talks about it's not the distance between two principal buildings in the same lot shall be no less than the height of the taller building. That's great, but except where specific minimum distance is established elsewhere in the zoning law for specific use, I'm a bit concerned with that. Some of the zoning in the town already makes firefighting efforts harder, almost impossible for us. And again, even where established elsewhere in the zoning law for specific use, I want to remind people, if they don't know, that it still has to comply with the state code, and sometimes less than, even if it's in the local law, it still doesn't apply with state code. And most importantly, it can be no less than 10 feet. Even then, if they're 30 feet high and there's a third-story window, it literally renders the fire department's ability to rescue people that are trapped in a fire almost impossible in many cases. And I think that's been forgotten in some of the local zoning laws. So just wanted to share that.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else in the public like to speak? Motion to close the public participation. Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Daniel Friedman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. Why don't we take a vote, a resolution on the setting of the date on the ward system as September 30th. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilman Friedman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Yes. Chris, would you read the last paragraph about the absentee?
Yes,
He's,
you want the next to the last?
do you want to read it, Michael?
I'll read it.
Okay. We read the resolves.
Now therefore.
Just want to remind everybody that Christian Sampson is not only the town clerk here in the town of Ramapo, but is the president of the New York State Town Clerks Association, the 932 towns in the state, and we're very proud of you. Okay.
Now therefore be it resolved by the town board of the town of Ramapo that a special election is hereby scheduled for Tuesday, September 30th, 2014, with respect to the above petitions, referencing the council management number of council petitions. Be it further resolved that the proposition to be voted on shall read as follows. 1. Shall the number of councilmen or councilwomen of the town of Ramapo be increased from 4 to 6? And 2, shall the ward system be established for the election of councilmen and councilwomen in the town of Ramapo? Be it further resolved that the special election will be held between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. at the polling places set forth in the attached schedule. Be it further resolved that eligible voters may vote by absentee ballot provided an application is received by the town clerk not less than 7 days in advance of the special election, if the ballot is to be mailed, and not less than 1 day in advance of the special election, if the ballot is picked up at the office of the town clerk.
Okay.
Just, on a question, I know we've already voted on it, but On the further resolve, council, is that going to read exactly to the person going in to vote? Is that how it's going to read?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no confusion, so this is how it reads, 1 and 2, and that's how they're gonna vote?
Correct.
Okay, and we are sending out absentee ballots, we're sending,
Where people can apply for an absentee ballot through the town clerk, when this special election acts as a board of election, and they'll be mailed.
and we're gonna set that today, or?
No, I think we'll leave that to the town clerk to get we need time to get these printed, so I think we leave that to his discretion.
Okay.
Supervisor, can I ask you just to recap who moved in second?
It was moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilman Friedman.
Pat, I believe this is the wording directly from
From Judge Garvey? Or from the petition itself? Correct.
That's correct. We took it verbatim from the petitions that were filed.
Okay.
Great. All right. All right. Well, with that, the next item on the agenda before we go into our police matters is going to be the Orange Avenue project, and I'd like to ask you to come up and make a presentation to the board.
Good morning. I am Jeffrey Goldstein. I live at 19 Dakota Court, Suffern, New York. My son Joshua is next to me.
Joshua Goldstein, 19 Dakota Court, Suffern, New York.
We were once again back so that we can hopefully finalize our Orange Avenue pilot situation. We're before you today to create an Article 5 corporation under the private housing finance law of the state of New York and have our pilot approved for your approval. This will set in motion our final stage, which is for us to go before the village board on September 3rd for our zoning approval to create the new housing that we are developing across from the train station on Orange Avenue. Just to remind everybody, we are purchasing 5 lots that are over there, which currently have a brownfields environmental problem. We will be cleaning that up as part of the development and creating 94 middle-income apartments across from the train station, which we hope will give a shot in the arm to the village of Suffern and hopefully turn around the vacancies that are being created in the Suffern and improve the village. That has been our goal. Joshi?
Just to reiterate, I know we discussed it the last time, the proposed, it's 92 units, is basically, well, it's completing what the Village of Suffern tried to do back in 2007 under an urban renewal plan. The building is almost identical, except for the fact that there will be no commercial component. It is only residential. The reason why we are making that change versus what the village had approved under the urban renewal is because we do not want to hurt any of the vacancies or the businesses that are in the downtown. We want to basically help them as best as we can, and we really do believe that by bringing new housing and new residents into the village, it's proposed that close to $2.5 million could be shot into the businesses in downtown off of the disposable income of the people that could be living in the in our development. So it's a very important development for the village. I do feel that the village is on board. The village board is on board, considering they have already passed their own pilot, and we are asking you to do the same today. So if we have any questions, I open it up.
Okay.
One last issue.
Yes.
The pilot before you is the same pilot we brought before you on the last meeting.
Okay. Any questions? I think that, I know that the Village of Suffern has voted unanimously for this project and is excited about it, and I think the fact that you're actually going to be cleaning up these brownfields is tremendously important, because has this project not go through, the homeowners, now that it's identified as a Superfund or a brownfield site by the state, would be able to even lower their taxes if nothing were built on it.
Yeah, that's
So,
true, yes.
And we know that in Suffern, there have been a lot of vacancies, anywhere between 15 and 20 vacancies of stores. So bringing in residents there and a transit-oriented development is the right thing for the Village of Suffern and for the town of Ramapo. And there are 92 units. 1 unit is for a supervisor, the
Yeah,
superintendent
correct.
of the
91
building.
to be rented, yes.
And then 91, 1 and 2 bedrooms, I think half and half pretty much.
Yeah, roughly half and half at this point, yes.
And it has, and I know, having gone to the meetings with the school board, at their hearings, they agreed with you that this has minimal impact onto the district. The projections are only about 2 children because of the fact that they're 1 bedroom and 2
Yeah,
bedroom.
yes, the study was conducted, and we said at most it would be 2, and it was acknowledged by the superintendent of schools. It is not a concern of them about school children at all.
So you will go back before the, I know you've been before the village board already, and you'll go back before the village board in September, get the final zoning, and then you'll be able to start and break ground and start ameliorating the environmental issues first?
Yeah, the environmental issues have to be addressed first. The cleanup has to be done within a 12-month period, so I think by the end of, I think March, April, May, the spring of 2015, the cleanup specifically on Mr. Shen's property needs to be completed, which is one of the main reasons why we are rushing.
And would you just tell us what are those contaminants on there, just for the the
Yeah,
record?
well, we had originally gone about doing an environmental examination because of the property that's on the corner used to be an old gas station. So we thought that that was going to be the gist of the issue, belongs to us. When we took some soil borings on David Shen's property, it turns out that there used to be a battery factory back in the 1920s on his property. So there's high levels of mercury and lead contamination on his property, and also on the Village of Suffern's property, which they are now aware of.
And all of those properties, the Village of Suffolk property will be cleaned up, the Shen property, and also the property in the corner?
Yeah, 100% all of them.
Do you take, obviously you take that away, you ship it out of here to
It's done
appropriate sites?
all by inline. I mean, the DEC basically moderates the brownfields cleanup. I mean, they've started.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
All right, any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. You want to have a motion? Yes. Moved by Councilman Friedman, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? 3-0. 1 abstention. So the motion passes. Thank you very much. And thank you, Chief, for letting us take those things out of order. Okay. The next item on the agenda will be, we'll go right into the police matters, Michael? Okay. Chief, you're up.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. First item on the agenda is my report. As usual, we'll compare our statistics from July of 13 to July of 14. I trust the board members have a copy of those statistics. If you go down the list, the first thing that comes out is the police-involved accidents. July, we had 5. Now, what we do is when one of our police officers are involved in a motor vehicle accident, we determine whether it's a preventable or non-preventable accident. Those that are preventable, we try to determine where the problem was. We take the officer and he gets retrained. Those that are non-preventable are listed as not the officer's fault. The next area is our crimes. Burglaries, we went down a couple. Larcenies, we went up significantly. Criminal mischief, we went up. Down to the uniform traffic tickets, we went down just a little bit. And our school enforcement, we didn't have any summonses. Incidentally, we have our community policing officers going to go around to all our school bus companies in the next couple of weeks. We'll give some training to the school bus drivers on their responsibilities and what we can do to help them throughout the school year. Cell phones went down a little bit, and everything else is pretty much the same. The arrests went up significantly as the parking tickets did. Other than that, it's a pretty non-eventful month. Is there any questions on that at all?
No, any questions? No, go right ahead, Chief.
Okay. Next one's community events. I've been to many communities: Hillbury, Montebello, Chestnut Ridge, Sloatsburg, Pomona. Spoke to the mayors of each one of those villages. They were very appreciative of what the Round Pole Police Department provides them. There were some quality of life issues. They requested a little bit more speed enforcement, a little bit more visibility with our speed sign, and I shared with each mayor that we will do that. I passed it along to Sergeant Howell to make sure that that speed sign is equitably distributed throughout the town to our various villages. So basically, they're very satisfied with our product. Also went to a few dinners, the Shiva, maybe someone could help me, Das, right there on College Road, right south of the college, that new school.
The Yeshiva of Spring Valley?
Okay. Well, I went to the, I went to the dinner for their mentally challenged and handicapped children.
Was that Orva Das then?
That's it, that's it.
That was
That's
Orva
it.
Das, yes.
If they have it again next year, I would encourage you all to be there. They had a speaker there that was more than dynamic, spoke for about 45 minutes, very motivating. It was a well-attended event. Went to a meeting with the Brewer Fire Department. Also went to the Bonnet, B-O-N-O-Lane dinner, another well-attended event for families that are having difficulty having children, etc. Probably one of the largest charitable events I've attended at Atrium. Again, the speaker was dynamic. Also went to the National Night Out at Boulder Stadium. So we went to many of our villages, many of the events, and nothing but positive feedback, Mr. Supervisor. Any questions on that?
Nope.
Okay, next, I'd like to send Sergeant Lee to an impact training conference on September 17th. It's from the 15th through the 17th. The total cost of $103.06. Sergeant Lee is very involved in our impact training in the department, and he'll not only assist in training the police officers, but he's in charge of all our dispatchers.
Okay.
Do we need a
Moved by
resolution?
Councilman Ullman, second by Councilman Friedman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
Thank you. Item number 3, authorization to send 6 officers to some training in Buffalo. It's for our rifle training. We purchased a few patrol rifles, and I want to send 6 of these officers who are involved in training not only with these rifles but our firearms. The total cost of that will be $2,700, and that money is coming out of the operating budget for our training and school seminars. The officers are Sergeant Matos, Sergeant O'Donnell, Sergeant Bassett, Police Officer Trojan, McIntosh, and Plesko. Once again, these officers train our police officers, and they do an excellent job.
Okay, moved by Councilman Ullman, seconded by Councilman Friedman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Number 4, Officer Tracy Magaletta just graduated from our DARE Academy up in Connecticut. It was a 2-week academy. It's a prerequisite to becoming a DARE officer. She's replacing Chris Doldrell, who is going up to the Ramapo High School as a school resource officer. Very anxious to have Tracy on board. She has been getting some OJT from Chris Doldrell. I think she is going to be an added asset to our DARE program. She has a lot of energy. She's a police officer with us for about 10 years, and I think we're going to reap a lot of benefits, and the school, more importantly, will reap a lot of benefits from her as a mentor to the students and as a representative of this police department.
Moved by?
Well, that's, we
Oh,
just, we'll let
just
you
the
know on
approval
that.
of the tuition.
No,
You were just letting,
no
okay.
tuition on that, and, okay, and then,
But it says approval of tuition reimbursement.
which one is that now?
Or that's the next item. So that, okay, go ahead, Chief.
Okay, now, Sergeant Giordana is not working today, but he's in charge of our intern program under Sergeant Lieutenant Kobat's direction, and he speaks very highly of the program, and he wanted me to express his gratitude to this board for sponsoring and supporting the program. And rather than me delivering the message for him, I'm going to have him perhaps at the next meeting to discuss what they did with the students, where they came from, what the benefits they received, and what we receive in return.
Great.
Okay? But I just
Yep.
want to thank the board here for sponsoring that program once again.
Do we need a
Okay.
motion on that?
What was,
Approval?
okay. Okay, is that where is it?
Okay.
This is not on the agenda, but I'd like to bring it up. We sent some of our detectives down to Florida As you know, we had a very high-profile homicide, 5-year-old boy down in Nyack Hospital. The mother is accused of the death of that child, and the Westchester District Attorney's Office is going to be the lead prosecution on this, and we're working with them and the investigators from the Westchester County DA's office. Incidentally, as a sidebar, they speak very highly of our detectives. They are very appreciative of all the work we've done on this case, and I believe we'll have a successful prosecution. But in any event, we had to send our officers down to Florida. They also went to Alabama, and they had, I think, over 60 interviews conducted while they were there. And that's $2,777.30. We sent Officer Budnick and Sergeant John Lynch down there.
Okay. Moved by Councilman Ullman, seconded by Councilman Freeman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
Mr. Supervisor, that really ends my public comments, but I do have some issues that I'd like to discuss with the board concerning personnel and contract issues in executive session, if that's a possibility.
Chief, would it be possible before we go into executive session that we do these public hearings? So there'll be people here in the public. I don't want them to have to wait for the executive session of the police.
I was just about to suggest that.
Okay, great, great. All right, Michael? Yeah.
There was this tuition reimbursement for police officer Carroll.
That was item 1D.
Is that what you were discussing?
That's what I was asking if we...
We have some requests for a tuition reimbursement here. Is that what you...
Yeah, for police officer Carroll.
We have Officer Carroll, we have Sergeant Corbett. If you want to discuss that
But-
now, I have...
No, it's just if any are ripe to the point of actually paying. Some of those may be going through even some grievance processes or...
Okay.
The Caro.
We can approve if we cannot do so.
Okay, that's what we'll do. Chief, right now, we'll just do Caro.
Okay.
All right?
Yes, sir.
Moved by?
Withers.
Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by? Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. Okay. I want to take one other item out of order. I know Cassandra Edwards spoke to us and had made a request for $3,000.
Actually, I want to just make an announcement that I just spoke to Mr. Goldstein, and he said he was going to allocate the $3,000 for you and make that donation to you. So,
Fantastic. Great. Okay, so that's taken care of. Keep up the good work, Cassandra. Well, I think we should give $1,000 as to add on to that.
the board has done that.
Yep.
I would make the motion.
What?
The second the supervisor's motion was $1,000. I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. So you can walk. We have 4,000, Cassandra. Fantastic. And we want to thank the Goldsteins for making that contribution. Thank you, Cassandra. Okay, Michael, the public hearing.
Yes, the first one is amending our floodplain protection law. Reading the notice of public hearing into the record, and it reads as follows. Notice is hereby given by the town board of the town of Arapahoe, pursuant to the provisions of the town law of the state of New York. The public hearing will be held at 10 o'clock a.m. at the Arapahoe Town Hall, 237 Route 59, Suffolk, New York, 11901, on the 25th day of August 2014, to consider the adoption of the local law entitled "The Local Law Amending Local Law Number 1."
Bless you.
2014, floodplain prevention, to adopt the current revisions to the flood insurance rate maps. We would introduce into evidence at the hearing, number one, a copy of the proposed local law. Number two, the notice of public hearing. Number three, the affidavit of posting. And finally, number four, the affidavit of publication. With that, the public hearing would be open for any comments.
Okay, is there anyone here that would like to speak in the public on this floodplain protection? Motion to close the public hearing. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. The next item would then be council to adopt the agreement of the local law for the floodplain, correct? Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
We have a second public hearing scheduled as well. This one involves an amendment to the town's zoning law. The notice of public hearing reads as follows. Notice is hereby given by the town board of the town of Round that pursuant to the provisions of the town law of the state of New York, a public hearing will be held at 10:01 a.m. at the Round Town Hall, 237-59, Suffolk, New York, 901, on the 21st day of August 2014, to consider the adoption of the local law entitled, "A Local Law Amending Local Law Number 10-2004 Zoning as amended to clarify the permitted distance between buildings." I would introduce you to, as exhibits at the hearing, the following documents. Number one, copy of the proposed local law. Number two, the notice of public hearing. Number three, the affidavit of posting. Number four, the affidavit of publication. Number five, the GML review by the Rockland County Planning Department dated August 11, 2014. Number six, a letter from the town of Clarkstown dated 8/7/14. Number seven, the short form environmental assessment prepared by our environmental consultant. Number eight, the Round-Up Planning Board recommendation that the law be adopted. And number nine, the proposed negative declaration under secret for board consideration. With that, we can then open this matter up for public comment.
Okay, anybody in the public like to speak on this matter? Robert, come right up.
Robert Romanowski, 183 Maple Avenue, Muncie. The Ramapo really is congested enough now. The buildings are very close to each other as it is. We have very congested zones like the MR8, MR16. I see some construction now on Route 306 where they're digging right into the hill between Route 306 and Blauvelt Road. So everything is congested enough now. We don't need things more compacted. And second thing, well, if there was a GML here from the county, what was their report on the GML? Does that's to pass this resolution? Does the town need to have a supermajority or 4 members to pass this here zoning amendment for separation between buildings? What was the recommendation or modifications requested by the County Rockland Planning Department? Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Robert Burton, 5 Dale Road, Muncie, New York, Village of Airmont. I'd just like to reiterate what Mr. Gordon had said previously as far as firefighting is concerned. If you reduce the spaces between the buildings, it makes it much more difficult to fight a fire. You have to consider that the Tallman aerial truck alone is 48 feet long and makes it much more difficult to get in between a building. And as far as rescue is concerned, it's going to be almost an impossibility when you reduce the spaces between buildings. The other thing is, if you have a really hot fire going and the embers are flying, it's much more easily ignitable on the adjacent buildings. And I'd like you to take that into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bob, would you repeat your address for me, please?
5 Dale Road.
Thank you.
Come right up. Yeah. Just state your name and your address and...
It's Michael Parietti, 6 Spookrock Road, Suffolk, New York. And I would just say briefly that I'm obviously opposed to this. I mean, is this really necessary? I mean, you go through some of the areas of the town where things are very congested and everything is tightly packed together. And I wonder, how is this going to affect setbacks? You have a piece of property, can somebody build something right next to you? And I just don't think it's necessary. Our infrastructure is already overtaxed. You know, we have problems with the sewers. We have questions about water supply. This is only going to lead to higher density and continue to overtax and overburden the system. And I suspect that this is being pushed through probably at the behest of developers who want to try to increase the amount of profit they can make per acre, blah, blah, blah. So I definitely am opposed to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Right up, Mr. Dent.
Rudy Dent, 8 Red Oak Lane, New Hempstead, New York. I am a retired firefighter with 32 years in the FDNY, and I am school trained by the fire department as a building inspector. I am also trained as a fire marshal. And in reference to the statement made by the firefighter about the exposure, there's no way I can emphasize how important that is. The exposure is, when too close, can be easily ignited by the heat of the building that is on fire. And to disregard that warning places anyone who has been made aware of it in a state of culpability for any future disasters that would follow. The fire codes are in effect because of hundreds of years of experience in the fire department to prevent those things from happening again. So that should not be ignored. There's no way you can put human life on the line because of potential profit and maximization of space and utilization of space. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to speak on this public hearing? Motion to close the public hearing by Councilman Ullman, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. Council, did you want to address a couple of those?
Yes, if I could. It came to the board's attention that there was actually a conflict in our current zoning law. We have a generic rule that says the separation between adjacent buildings has to be the minimum of the height of the tallest buildings. However, we have in other sections of the code specific separation requirements. So for a multifamily zone, it has to be a minimum of 30 feet. To reconcile the conflict between the generic rule and the specific rule otherwise in the code, this simply says that the general rule applies unless there's a specific rule addressing that specific use. So we're not really changing anything, we're simply clarifying and avoiding a conflict which currently exists in the law. This has been approved by the planning board, it's been approved by our Mr. Lang from Frederick B. Clark Associates, and it's really a clarification to avoid conflicts in the existing law. I'd also point out in response to a very significant comment made during the public participation about the state building code, this in no way attempts to get around the state building code. Whatever requirements the state fire protection building code requires, every developer has to meet, and that's what our building department ensures. So it doesn't do anything to compromise the safety requirements through the state law. It simply reconciles a conflict which has come about based on conflicting provisions in the current zone.
You know, if you don't mind, Mr. Supervisor, through you, I'd like to clarify that again through you, because I do take Chief Gordon and Mr. Barton serious, and even Mr. Dent's experience. I was an ex-cop. I'm not a firefighter, but the gentleman out there is saying that we're not actually trying to circumvent the law. We're actually just clarifying it, right? The state standards are the building, the fire code safety is what our code enforcement officers go by, right?
That's absolutely correct.
Okay, and why the need for clarification?
Because we have specific separation requirements for certain districts, and they're different than the generic requirement that we have in the code.
Okay.
So to reconcile the specific with the general, this says the general applies unless there's a specific rule otherwise for a specific district.
Okay. Do we need to have an adoption of the secret first?
Yes.
All right.
Close public hearing?
We did. So an adoption of the secret determination, moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. And then adoption of the local law, moved by Withers, seconded by Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. Okay. The next item on the agenda is the regular meeting acceptance of the minutes for the June 19th meeting. Moved by Councilman Ullman, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. And then item 2B is the adoption of the regular meeting of July 17th, 2014. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilman Friedman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. Okay, so I think we did a lot that was of interest to the people that are here in attendance, because I think we have a lengthy police executive session dealing with personnel and some contract issues.
Yes, sir.
And so we're going to go into executive session for the police, moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilman Friedman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
Discussion meetings, and we're going to continue on with our agenda. I'm going to turn to council on the approval of agreements. Mr. Klein.
We have an addition to the agenda. This motion is to approve, the initial motion is to approve payment of legal fees incurred for the planning, development, and construction of two capital projects initiated by the town of Rampo and completed by the Rampo Local Development Corporation, one an affordable housing project, another urban renewal project, a sum not to exceed $695,000.
I'll move it. Second? Moved in second. All in favor, say aye. 3 votes, 2 absent. 3 yes, 3, 0.
Supervisor not here, what else do we
Is that absent or abstain and absent?
No, there's a
No,
2 absent.
two absent.
He's out of the room. Okay, Mr. Klein, if you go continue with the agreements.
With 2 and 3, which are a discussion of extension of golf professional contracts. Currently, we have a contract with Anthony Musto as our male golf pro, and we also have one with Joyce Freed. Mr. Musto's contract ends at the beginning of 2015, and he, with the consent of the Parks Department, requested that that be extended. This way is assurance of his stability here and good water equipment for the pro shop. Before we consider that, though, we should also consider Joyce Freed's contract. Hers actually extends a different period of time, but it's my suggestion that we make both of them coterminous. The resolution for Joyce Freed is inaccurate in that she's currently receiving $37,000 that's payable in 2 installments. So the suggestion is to extend her contract for 3 years and to also extend Mr. Musto's contract for 3 years, with that ending on December 31st, 2017. I would point out that Mr. Musto's contract is for $33,000 a year. Ms. Freed's is for $37,000 a year. I don't know if the board wants to keep those the same or make any changes.
That's fine. We can keep them the same. It's just pretty much rolling it over, and I'm happy to ask the board to accept that, and I feel comfortable with the service we got. I know I promised Councilman Friedman and Ullman some increase in revenue, and I do believe that we will see that this year. Hopefully the rain holds out. So I feel comfortable with increasing that and going forward. And I would ask for support. I will move it. And second by?
So the first one is Mr. Musto.
Okay, with in regards to A2, the golf professional agreement with the Anthony Musto, I will move it. And second by? Freeman. All in favor? 3-0. And in regards to the golf profession, when it comes to agreement with their LPGA, Joyce Freed, I will also move that for a 2-year extension. Second by Mr. Alden. All in favor? Mr. St. Lawrence is back in the room. So Supervisor St. Lawrence will now conduct the meeting.
Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Supervisor. And what number are we on?
We just finished up the approval of Joyce Freed.
Okay. And Michael?
We have a discussion next on the clothing bids. I know Michelle Natoska is not here, so the question
So why don't we
is,
table that to the next meeting?
just so the board knows, we currently have an agreement that's expired with Planet Aid. It's continuing on a month-to-month basis, but we can terminate it on 30 days' notice, so that's what happens. in the
Okay.
interim. We have, each year, we get a new contract with the state to provide snow and ice removal. This extends the existing contract for another year, from July 2014 through June 2015.
Withers?
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
The next item on the agenda was already taken care of, so we have 4 tax cert matters to discuss. First of these is Why Not You LLC. This involves tax years 2009 through 2014, results in a town tax refund to the landowner of $2,877.
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilman Freeman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
The next tax certiorari settlement is with Executive Associates North 2 LLC. Mr. Berman will discuss that.
That will result in that's for tax years 10, 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, 14, 15. Will go to the town tax refund of $3,220.33.
Moved by? Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
Then we have two exemption applications. First one is Foundation and Yeshiva Zikron Shire. This is teacher housing for 2012, 2003. My office reviewed it and recommended you grant the exemption.
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Supervisor St. Lawrence. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
Then we have one more, it's the Ad Matorah of Muncie. This is also related housing for, I don't know if it's teachers or faculty, and I also reviewed it, and it's a pro rata section. It's for January 26th, 2012 through December 31st, 2012. They bought the property from exempt, so now this is exempt, so therefore we recommend it.
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
Our excess workers' compensation insurance policy is expiring. We've received a quote from LeBaum Company. It's about a $15,000 increase from our prior contract, and that's based on our claim history.
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries
We
unanimously.
have one settlement of a claim. This involves the town's taking property incident to the Maple Avenue road widening project. This involves a payment of $2,500 to Mr. and Mrs. Landau for taking a portion of their property for sidewalks.
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilman Freeman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
The next item is for discussion. Each year, the Friends of Harmony Hall, as a fundraiser, hosts a bluegrass festival. They've requested that the town permit a vendor to serve wine. And in order to do that, they need our consent as the landowner. Generally, we don't permit our parks-related facilities to be used for alcohol, but I indicated that we would.
Well, actually, we let the firemen drink beer at the Camp Scuffy.
So here they actually have a vendor that's going to sell it. So if
do you
we
think?
approve this, we will be named as an additional insured on the liability policies, and it is by a local winery, I think from Orange County, who they intend to use. It's been a very successful event in the past, but this is the first time they're serving.
I have no problem with
I
it.
have no problem. It's an event that Councilman Freeman has always taken a liking to, and he's always pretty much like an MC up there. And I have no problem supporting it. So go forward with it.
Okay.
So
Do we need a resolution?
Yes.
Okay, a resolution to allow the vendors to sell wine at the Bluegrass Festival, moved by Councilman Freeman, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. We have something on Blauvelt Avenue. You want to do that right now?
The board applied for and received approval from the county community development for $55,000 for Blauvelt and Clark Road improvements. In order to get the money, we need a resolution approving the grant and signing the agreement with the county.
Okay, moved by Deputy Supervisor. This is new.
New business item.
It's approval of agreement. Approval of agreement, community development block grant, Dash County Rock.
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Supervisor St. Lawrence. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. Okay, personnel.
We have two items. The first A is to a resolution to establish the position of maintenance helper in the Parks and Rec course areas of grade 8 entry level position.
Not grade 6 is entry.
Golf course.
With a waiver in blue collar, it's 8.
And is this off the list?
You don't
thought we were not doing the job.
We're actually transferring a one-time employee from the highway department, and he's taking a lower level.
We probably should have talked about this in executive session. It's Myers who he got in trouble, and the judge really issued a 60-day suspension. He's in trouble for it. So we worked it out that it's the re-employment at the end of his 50th birthday, which is $14. But he can't work it out in the highway garage strike. So we're going to put in a special job just for he won't be driving. All right, okay. Moved by Councilman Friedman, second by Deputy Supervisor Wizard. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
Second is the appointment to that position, John Myers Jr.
That's it.
will be appointed maintenance helper effective August 25th.
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilman Friedman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
And the next is just a quick discussion item. We often are approached by people who want to offer things to our employees and give discounts. For example, Verizon does that. We were approached by a rep, Union Mutual, who want to offer their homeowner and auto insurance at up to a 10% discount. But there's a hold harmless agreement that if you agree to do this, you speak to the town attorney. They have to review it to make sure this is
Okay, good. And then so when we have Employee Appreciation Day, this will be another one of the things in the packet that our employees can utilize.
And we put this on in our lunchrooms and such, and it's up to the employee whether they want to avail themselves of this.
Okay,
Now, I'll move forward.
okay. Yes, we don't need a resolution on that.
No, I think
just
Linda just
okay.
wanted a consensus of the board that it was an appropriate thing to do.
Okay. Okay, finance. We have,
5A, amendment to the 2014 budget grant from the state of New York for cardiovascular exercise equipment at Golden Valley Recreation Center.
moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilman Friedman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
5A2, amendment to 2014 budget, BWI overtime control grant from the county of Rockland.
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. And then we have an amendment of the capital project for the closing out of a capital bond, and that funds will then go into the debt service account. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. Acceptance of bids in purchasing.
So the first item is for discussion, and it's in reference to the construction of the pedestrian bridge over the Navajo River. When we went out for bid, we had not gotten a recommendation back, so at this point, we had to ask for an extension from the low bidder, which is Basco, and we did agree to do that extension. And Hugh Variance, I've not put this on the agenda. I do have a letter here from Lee Durario that says that on February 24th, the bids were open. This bridge was damaged by Hurricane Irene. It is a FEMA project.
And we will be reimbursed by FEMA?
That's correct. So the question is the source of funds, and subject to my conversation with the town attorney and our bond counsel, we can, in theory, if you decide we are moving forward with it, we can then come up with where we're gonna get it. We will be reimbursed, but we have to lay out the
Yeah.
money.
Well, nobody can go over the bridge right now. It's not workable. So, and it does connect not only the St. Lawrence Center to another 30 acres of parkland. So, and it's FEMA is reimbursing us for this. So we'll find the appropriate capital.
Mona, did you review the bid?
Yes, they are, and we've used them before, and we've successfully, they've done a good job.
So, do we have any action that we need to take here?
You have to approve the acceptance of the
Okay. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. Extension of the agreement for the bituminous concrete furnished and applied, unincorporated, and in various Ramapo villages.
So basically, we do the work for these villages, and we're just now extending it.
Okay, moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. Item C, Mona?
We're asking you, there's approval for the change orders for the various pavement parking lots for Tilcon.
Okay. Moved by?
Withers?
Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by? Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
And then we have an approval for the change order for the electrical renovation for the police station and communications center. The only thing I'm gonna say to you is that this potentially might come out from a different source of funds. We're waiting for an answer as to whether it can be used for our forfeiture money, if we can stop it from being at or from capital. We have
Okay.
available in both places.
So, moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. Discussion on Bluefield Gardens?
Correct. Again, this is an item that was put on the agenda while I was away. I received a memo from Michelle. She had gotten a grant, from Bluefield Gardens of money in lieu of land, a lump sum payment of $50,000, and the $40,000 worth of equipment, is being spent for, and the vendor we're buying it from is Game Time, which is fine. You don't need to approve that particular thing because they're a state contract. So, this is a grant money, we just want you to accept the grant and then allow us to spend the money.
To build the park.
Correct, 40,000 will go to Game Time, and 10,000, which is under the bid threshold, would go to Corsetti, who's the, approved vendor to install this equipment for this area.
Okay.
In speaking with Michelle and Tosca, will we make sure, please, that these playgrounds that are going in are up to code and speed?
Yes.
There are some issues that we are addressing, but,
Absolutely.
All right. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilman Friedman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. On the assessor, Scott?
Yes, I'm requesting to attend the New York State Assessors Association Seminar on Assessment Administration in Lake Placid on October 5th through the 8th.
Moved by?
you're getting better with the locations.
Yeah, that is a better location.
Not Michigan, Withers.
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. I think the discussion on the planning board is just, it was a discussion when they have extra meeting dates that they would see the same compensation as a regular meeting.
I think the issue is they're getting a lump sum for the whole year.
Right, so we're going.
Why don't we just divide it by how many meetings and add the difference?
Yes.
Yes, we're gonna rate whatever the fee is for the normal 12, divided by 12, and for every meeting they do more, we're gonna pay them that.
In the same, okay. General matters, approval of a fire hydrant in Muncie, moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilman Friedman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
Supervisors, Olivia mentioned you just now, we need a memo for that. To allow that from the personnel standpoint. Fine, pay it, but personnel will have to put it in that file.
Yeah, okay, also, we actually have a resolution prepared, so we should vote on it.
Okay. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by? What? Yes.
8A.
8A, the discussion item turned into a resolution, Chris. Moved by Withers
8A, boards and commissions.
and seconded by Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. Okay, so now we're on 9B, and this is a request for the Council General of Guatemala to be able to use this town hall office space October 25th and 26th. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. The book bag giveaway is going to be a request for $1,000. We voted on that already. Request for installation of traffic lights at the entrance of to Town Hall. Moved by Councilman Friedman,
We've
second.
done this so many times.
But I think we should add on to this that that the state will not have to pay for it, that the businesses on 59 will pay for the installation of the traffic light, so that the state will know that that they don't have to have this in their budget. All right?
Yep.
Moved by Friedman and seconded by Withers. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. Setting the meeting, that we have the holidays coming up in September, so we'll have our regular meeting in September. Is it just going to be a workshop and a,
Well, we have Monday, the 8th, scheduled for the workshop, and Wednesday, the regular town.
can we do it both on Monday night? Yetzi, is that all right with you?
As long as enough time to explain everything.
Okay. All right, so we'll have the meeting, workshop and town board meeting will be September 8th.
What time?
So why don't we have it on the 10th?
Yes, we'll include.
Thank you,
in
Robert.
this That the public hearing date will be changed. We can either do it on the 8th, or we can do it.
Can the
next
public
week.
hearing date be changed to the 8th? Do you have enough
It hasn't
time?
been published yet, so it can be, unless we want to move it to the following meeting.
All right, so it isn't published yet, Robert, so September 8th, we'll have the hearing. We'll have the town board meeting, the workshop, and the hearing on September 8th. Okay? Okay, yeah. Okay, and
8 o'clock. Oh, the workshop should be then 6:30? and
7 o'clock and for both. The starting date will be 7 o'clock for both, including the public hearing. Okay? And then we have a move by Withers, seconded by Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. And then there's an Eagle Scout that wants to do a project in our cemetery in Sloatsburg. So we'll have a motion by Deputy Supervisor Withers to allow him to do that, seconded by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. Okay, we've done the public participation, so close the meeting. Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. Okay, we are adjourned.